guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here today with a special guest, we've got Brady Booker. You may know him as the former Bodhi Hayward in WWE. But Brady, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Brody. I call everyone Brody. I'm sorry I did that to you. Bodhi Hayward. There we go. But all
Bodhi,
good.
gotcha. I
It
mix
doesn't
that up
matter anymore.
sometimes.
Brady Booker. So all
Brady
good.
Booker. So as far as, everything going on, I want to just do a couple icebreaker questions before we get into everything else. Just let the fans learn about you. Favorite actor, favorite movie?
Favorite actor's tough because right when you say it, a lot comes to mind. What
Right.
genre are we talking about here? You got Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler for your both ranges of comedy. But I love Leonardo DiCaprio. He does a great job. Tom Hardy's a badass. I mean, there's a good grouping right there. I'll just get it before I go on a tangent.
And then favorite
And
movie?
favorite movie. So then I'll follow along with, if we're going comedy, it could fall into that Step Brothers range. Could fall into that Hangover series. But the Batman trilogy,
Oh, yeah.
Christian Bale. I mean, man, I actually saw when they were in Chicago because I live about an hour southwest of Chicago, hour and a half. But we saw some of that filmed. The second one with the Joker, it took place in Chicago. Saw
Very cool.
when Batman, shot the SWAT guys off the building, they were all hanging, and then when the SWAT van actually went into the water. Yeah.
Very, very nice. And then one other question.
Yeah, that was
Favorite band or artist?
Before he passed, Juice was always my guy. He'd always get me through the tough times,
Nice.
Speak to me. I listened to him on SoundCloud when I was at a junior college.
Dang.
But I'll get down to some Motley Crue as well. I got a lot of different tastes.
There you go. Keeping it old school.
Oh yeah.
So you said junior college. Well, we know you went to South Dakota State. And correct me if I'm wrong, you got a bachelor's in pre-law and economics?
Bachelor's pre-law, business administration and economics. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Started my master's on kinesiology and exercise science. I always tried to do my best to get as much school done as long as it's getting paid for it. But yeah, I actually, my recruiting process, I guess, for football was in high school. I was getting highly recruited my junior year until I had 3 surgeries that took out 27 plus different schools.
Dang.
Yeah, man. Division I, kind of the dream. I was kind of set to go to, verbally, University of Illinois, which was my state school, which kind of always was a dream. My dad was actually like a Hall of Fame coach back in the area for like baseball, but his dream was to always like have someone, play at Illinois. So it was cool to kind of do that, and it all kind of fell apart outside of my hands. I had 3 surgeries in 6 months, and that was hard to deal with at a young age. But that's adversity that I've faced, like I'm facing right now. I've faced all too many times before. I went to a Division II for 1 month. Things went really well there, and I transferred to a junior college and ended up not even playing one down and got the full ride scholarship from the University of South Dakota, where I was getting recruited by those guys when I was in high school. And that's why I kind of chose them, is because I really wanted the, family, personal relationship. I'm a big personal guy. I don't do much small talk. You know what I mean? I that's why I got Brodies. You know what I mean? I call
Right.
everybody Brodies because I'm talking to my Brodies, and I really don't waste my time talking to anybody who's not a Brody.
So when you were in school, you played football, you have all these different classes you're going to and everything. Was one of those, say pre-law or business administration, the goal, or did you ever kind of in the back of your head think professional wrestling?
So, on Monday nights, me, my dad, my brother, ever since I can remember, would watch Monday Night Football and Monday Night Raw.
Nice.
And we got pictures at home. Throwing the ears, hitting the poses. But the dream was, pro football, realistically
Okay.
and honestly. And then when that didn't work out, they canceled our season for COVID. And I was coming to the end of my bachelor's, getting ready to apply for law school, setting up the master's program, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm ready to cut my hair, wear a suit, and be civilized, be an adult, So after playing poker with some of my buddies, we were all kind of, what are we going to do? I went home and Googled WWE application.
Oh, wow.
Questionnaire came up. I filled out the questionnaire. And then I actually got a call and an email a week later. I thought it was fake. You know what I mean? So flew down there, gave my tryout my all. My tryout was the guys who made it for my tryout was Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, Tony D'Angelo, Brooks Jensen, and Brutus Creed, along with myself. There were 6 of us, and
Wow.
I felt that was a pretty good class there, and so I felt like whatever I did there, I really earned it. And all I really did was we did the ring work. I busted my ass. That's all I've ever done is bust my ass my entire life because I'm a kid from LaSalle, Illinois. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we got Dreamwave Wrestling, a promotion there, but like it's a small town in the middle of nowhere in Illinois, farmland, and like I've had all these opportunities to play football against Jalen Hurts to all the way like working for Shawn Michaels. So I don't think you can get to those opportunities without hard work. So
Right.
that's really what I pride myself on. And yeah, after kind of busting my ass in the ring because I wasn't real sure what I was doing, never had anybody in the business that I knew. Like I said, I Googled it, man, and I literally typed WWE application, and all it was just my name. I filled out like my measurables and 40 time and stuff like that. Put some plays on there, some pictures, lifting weights. Um, yeah, and then I told my life story because I never really played a fake character. Bodhi Hayward was the WWE small version of that little section of me getting
Mm.
fired up, for my university because I would, and that's why I thought Chase, you felt like such a great idea and was going so well. I thought because it just felt natural, easy.
So you do the tryout. They tell you, hey, we want to sign you. Who's the first person you call once you get that news?
Oh, my parents,
Heck
my
yeah.
parents. Heck, and the thing was kind of with how football was going, we just dealt with another coaching change. I was coming off another surgery, and it was just things were kind of bleak in that realm. The injury liability word that I already conquered. Coming out of high school was getting thrown around again, and I just didn't like that. So I actually gave up 2 years of eligibility that I could have continued playing football to come to the WWE because I thought this was a very promising avenue for me. I thought, once I got into it as well, I felt like I was made for this.
Right. And so you signed in last year, August of 2021. How much did you work with Triple H, if any? Because we know that was right around the time that he was kind of having his issues. Did you work with him at all?
No, he was dealing with some health issues during that
Right.
time. I remember, and yeah, he was dealing with his health issues, and the company was
Right.
dealing with more changes and stuff like that. I was just trying to figure out how to give a hip toss. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah, they probably didn't have much time for me, but Robbie Brookside was teaching me a lot during those
Nice.
times, and yeah, can't appreciate him more. I was very probably as Fit Finley would say, greener than a tree frog. I said that the other day. Yeah,
Greener than a tree frog. Never heard that one before. But that's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah.
So, with Triple H not there, I assume Shawn Michaels was the one in charge. What was the one thing that you took away when the first time maybe you met Shawn Michaels?
Well, actually, the first time I saw Shawn Michaels, I was standing next to a writer, and me being the small town kid from Nowheresville, like I get wide eyed every day, and I was like, "Holy shit, there's Shawn Michaels!" I got goosebumps. And the guy like explains me as a golden retriever from that point on because like I was just so, oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Shawn Michaels is the best to ever do this, and I didn't personally get to spend as much time with him as I'd like to. I would have loved to talk a lot more bow hunting with him, you know what I mean,
Right.
outdoorsy stuff because I know he's into that. But wrestling wise, I mean, even he was working with Logan or when he was working with like Mr. Chase. Listen to the points he would give people of just how deep into thought you can be about the business and how much goes into it. I mean, like I said, he's the best to ever do it. So it was an honor. I just wish we could have built more.
Right. And you mentioned Mr. Chase there, and that actually goes right into my next question. What led to you being added to the Chase U story and the character and all of that? And who came up with the idea of you being in that faction and group?
Actually, when I came in, I just thought that I came from college. We were red and white. I had a whole bunch of red and white gear. I know I can get fired up, and they had a flag, and I was like, hell, I'll wave the flag. We cut a promo, and they enjoyed it, and it kind of got started from there. I spent 3 months in the crowd, waving the flag in the Chase U section, and the crowd kind of got a good feeling with me, and I got a good feeling with them. I love being out there with the Brodies, man. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it all comes back to. And then I got the opportunity to get in the ring, and I thought, I thought things were going pretty well.
So as far as the matches you've had, what would you say would be the favorite match you've had in WWE?
Match wise, I've totally, grown so much from
Right.
start to now. But my favorite match, it's hard too because having Mr. Chase there to put together matches, having his expertise in all phases of wrestling, because it was not only on screen. He behind closed doors was helping me out whenever he could. And a 15-year, 16-year vet like like Chance, he's the man. And I'd probably have to say Shaw Samuels at NXT UK just because it was so much fun to go over there, being in that environment. They were so into Chase U as well. And it allowed me to, run some different spots that he helped me kind of grow. That I felt like that was the real point where I didn't feel as much as a rookie anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
That match, I really felt like things were starting to turn in, the right direction.
So as far as you've talked about how, Mr. Chase helped you out a lot from inside the ring, outside the ring, who else did you connect with, either as far as learning or personally within the NXT division and stuff?
Oh, within NXT, I mean everybody, man. I feel I made a lot of good Brodies there. The Creed brothers are hell of athletes, hardworking guys. So we got along great, in the ring, in the weight room. Nose of the grindstone guys. Brooks Jensen, Ben Buchanan actually was my roommate for the first year there, and I love him like a little brother, even though he's kind of my big brother with some of this stuff. Because Ben, if you sit down and talk to Ben Buchanan, Brooks Jensen, I mean it's like talking to a 10-year vet already, and he's 21 years old.
Right.
And I mean I could sit here and list names for you all day, but the person that I'll probably miss most is Chance, Andre Chase. Like an older brother, sometimes like that father figure, always there for me, always there to help. And I ran everything by him. Every time he gave me advice, I'd try to instill it. He was the first person I talked to, last person I checked in with. He's a hell of a guy. He probably dealt with me at so many different moments where I was nervous, scared. What do I do? And he was able to put my head in the right place and help me perform. And I felt that, every time Chase U was called upon to do their job, we did it, and we did it well.
Right. And I just want to ask Thea Hale, I saw you guys had great chemistry on
Thea.
camera and stuff.
I've always wanted to be a big brother, and Thea was that opportunity, like even off camera, I got to change her tires and whatnot. And I was always looking out for her, you know what I mean? Because as I was in this business, I came into this business as one of the first athletes that, I guess weren't connected. And I never wrestled, I had no idea. My first day of wrestling practice was my first day at WWE. So I just know how you got to get looked out for. You don't want a bad image. You know what I mean? And I always looked out for Lil Thea. And she's a hardworking badass in herself. You know what I mean? You can tell from the character. She looks sweet and innocent, but you get her fired up. I mean, that's where that's where we share that little killer instinct. That's why I felt it always came off so well. I love Chase U, man. I really did. I love Chase U.
Yeah, the chemistry the three of you guys had, it was just great. Like, it felt real and not like, oh, we're playing characters. It was like we really just get along greatly.
Yeah, there were times where we were together, even in the UK, especially because we were on a trip and so together at that time. I was like, man, I wish one of us just had a GoPro on our heads because we were just getting content after content.
Right.
From me and Thea screwing around on the subway to Mr. Chase having to tell us what to do. Me trying to, I remember, we hung up a flag on the, what am I trying to say? The Queen's Gate, you know what I mean? Right next to her, and they got the guns and whatever. I'm just like, come on, guys, they won't shoot us in the front, come on, let's do it. It was so much fun, man. And it's really hurts to see it cut short.
Right. And speaking of special connections, I felt like you had a special connection with that NXT audience there at the Performance Center. Can you speak a little bit on that and how they really gravitated to you?
That 3 months that I was telling you where I was in that Chase U section. Chase U started out as a heel, you know
Mhm.
what I mean, kind of segment, and people were picking on Mr. Chase and making fun of Mr. Chase. Mr. Chase is an expert, just trying to go out there and teach everybody what he's doing. So Bodhi Hayward, went out to the Chase U section one day and had enough and tried to get everybody going for Chase U. And what's crazy is, the feelings I could transfer to other people feel good, like we're at the game, we're having fun. Even if we're razzing, talking together about go Chase, you're talking shit. It's still a good time, and I felt that I was able to make it that good time in that 3-month span where I was in the crowd, right next to him. I mean, we were Brodying up.
Right.
I wish we had beers out there so we could, stone cold them together as we were watching that stuff, because I was just out there having fun with them. I was one of them. And until I got my opportunity to get in the ring, and then they did nothing but support me, and I can't thank them enough for that, because looking back too, I mean, just such a small thing. I always wanted to get the mic in my hands in front of them,
Mhm.
because I knew that I would have felt at home. I knew whatever I had to say would have just been heaven, because I could look at them and I had all the support in the world. From dudes razzing with me to Brody's just trying to have fun, and it just I can't thank them enough for all that, because they're the reason I'm still gonna continue. I am gonna pursue this wrestling dream because of the fans, and
Right. And
and that's it, because they believe in me
Mhm. Because it
when no
showed,
one
like,
else does.
you show up in NXT and everyone's like, "Oh, who's that? Never seen that guy before." But the way the crowd always just loved you, it made us wanna love you as well.
And in all seriousness, maybe I look at some of the wrestling stuff that I did, and I kept it rather simple, but
Mhm.
being the student at Chase U, I felt that, I was a basics guy. That's what I did in wrestling matches. And the crowd was always there for me. They just wanted to have fun with me, and I was going to make it fun for them. And because that's all I want to do is just have fun. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
we can get serious and kick ass. It's just,
Mhm.
I said this before. I really feel that if I have an emotion that I really want someone else to feel with me, I have an ability to portray that. And I don't know how, but it just gets out there and people feel it, and we just kind of rock with it, you know?
Right. So, and then the last question about the crowd, do you feel like it being, I don't know how to phrase this, a lot of the same people every week helped with that, emotional connection with them as far as
Yeah.
going other places and being with different crowds?
Yeah, so it was definitely hotter at the NXT crowd than it was on a live event.
Mhm.
But, by the end of the live event, it would get just as hot. And then, like that feeling you were talking about, because of the NXT crowd, people would feel that same feeling when they saw us as well. So I can't thank them enough for that. But I also do believe that NXT crowd, saw us every week, saw us all the time. And in front of us and right there. And although they are always there and they're big fans and they like to be a part of the show as well, I think that equity that we put in, you could tell the difference from chance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
And
as
yeah,
the hard question has to come now, as far as the release and everything does go, exactly how did that come about? When did you find out? And how was that? Was it a phone call, maybe?
it was a under a minute phone call from
Okay.
Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah, and it was from the VP of Talent Development, who is a new hire from when I was hired. Ken Seaman gave me my job, and he is no longer there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got a phone call, and it was kind of out of left field, and I was told for not maximizing my full potential, which I was rather confused at. Being on TV every week, I felt that if I wasn't wrestling, we were having a skit and everything was fine. And then I felt that if there was ever an issue, someone would come up to me and ask me to change, because I felt that I had that ability to be whatever they felt necessary.
Right.
I guess that just fell off.
And so I want to read you, I want to get your reaction to a quote that Dave Meltzer put in today's Wrestling Observer newsletter. And I just want to read this from verbatim what he wrote and see if there's anything to it from your standpoint. He said, quote, "The story out was that he got hurt a lot and had heat from not going to a show or shows. Another person said he wasn't showing enough progress and sometimes didn't show up on time. We've been told all cuts were performance and improvement based, although Hayward being cut was more than just that."
My work ethic has never been questioned my entire life. I'm not going to sit here and tell people, "Oh, I work hard. I do this. I wake up at 4:30 in the a.m. since I was 12 years old because it's easy. I eat workouts like the M&Ms." But you know what I mean? People can say whatever they like, and rumors get started. I feel that if anyone wants to question my work ethic, anybody I worked with can, your Andre Chases. It doesn't have to be friends but anybody I worked with. Ask who was in the gym. Ask who was working hard. You don't get to where I've been without working hard.
Right.
So if it wasn't that I wasn't working hard enough, we had a conditioning test, and I got third overall in the place. I was always top 10 athletes, top 10% athletes in the building. So I find that very hard to understand. And yes, there was a time I was late to a show. I got 2 flat tires on the way to a show one time. Like, my tire went flat twice. And I
Right.
filled it up, and I got to the show safely, but that did happen. But if that's what led to my termination, that's very upsetting.
Right.
Yeah.
So go for it.
And I don't know Dave, and I don't know who would say something like that, but that is 100% not true. It's BS,
Gotcha.
and people are trying. I don't understand the whole, clickbait shit and stuff like that, but that's not me. I'm a pretty straightforward guy, and in all seriousness, I love speaking and I love talking to people, but I love proving it more. So if that's all I got to do, then hell, let's do it, right?
So then that leads to the next question. What's next? What's the future plans for Brady Booker?
That's the thing. I made a lot of great friends and great connections here. Luckily enough, too, Matt Riddle, he's like my big Brody. He's my big bro. And he's been helping me a lot with this. I connected with a bunch of different people. I'll say that there'll be travel internationally, and then around the country. But I just got to figure out, how this all works and where do I
Right.
go from here. I'm talking to a lot of different vets. I'm talking to a lot of different big time pros that are going to help me through this.
That's awesome that you have that support system from many different people. It's great to hear. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. One person I'll also throw in there, Trent
yeah.
Seven over, Ben over in the UK. Also, talking over there. There's Japan, there's
Mhm.
Mexico, Canada, and then we got our promotions around here in the US. So I'm open to working, man. I'm open to having fun. I just want to get in front of my Brodies. I just want those opportunities, and the rest will take care of itself. I can promise that.
Heck yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. I mean, I was really excited to see your growth in NXT, and I'm glad to see that you're going to keep on with the pro wrestling stuff. So, for people that may want to sign you or bring you onto a show, where can they find you?
I'm still on Instagram, Twitter. I actually just made a TikTok the other day. We're finally on that wave. I've never really been big into social media, but now we're public figure. I'm gonna share my life with the Brodies, and the Brodies are gonna hang out with me. So I also have email, bookertbrady@gmail.com. But yeah, I'm open, and after this 30 days, ready to figure it all out.
Awesome. I want to say thank you for joining me here today, Brady. Thank you for the talk. Thank you for your time. And I hope everything goes well in the future. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.